Hey everybody, Jeffrey Powers here with Geekazine and How to Record Podcasts over at howtorecordpodcast.com and geekazine.com. Just think magazine, put in a geek. And in the last few months I've been very big on doing this. And a lot of people have been asking, why do you take the time to put these thumbnails for podcasts, for audio podcasts, for video podcasts? Well, the bottom line is these thumbnails do a lot and bring a lot of people in to my shows. And so I want to show you the importance of this and how to do this. You don't even need this. I have Photoshop down here. I could open up Photoshop, and I do this all the time. I create templates, and then I just post in a picture, I change the text, and I go from there. But there's other programs that you can use out there that are absolutely free, and I'm going to show you that right here. So first of all, of course, How to Record Podcasts. It's brand new. I just moved it off of the Geekazine YouTube channel, so I've only got a few things here. But as you can see, I've got how to use Adobe Premiere Pro to record audio podcasts. I don't have a thumbnail for it just yet. I didn't create the custom thumbnail. And this might actually be hurting my views by not having this thumbnail. Now, let me just show you here really quick. We're going to go over to youtube.com. We're going to take a look at some of the videos here. Now, picture this. If you cannot read the text on these images, would that compel you to watch the video? So if you didn't know that this was Outkast Coachella 2014, which is a big music festival, if you looked at this picture and you saw a pair of blue legs, would you click on that image? Probably not. If you looked on this image and it's like, hey, it looks like a fake Drake, would you click on that image? Probably, because there's a face there. It kind of tells the story. Image like this? Probably not. Now, if you're looking for 3D, if you're doing 3D printing or something like that, and you're getting into that, and you want to learn a little bit more, and you say, hey, I want to, there's a 3D model scanner so I can scan stuff in. Hey, there it is. If there was no text down here, this image tells a lot about what it is. This one, not so much, and I'm not sure why it's not showing me an image. But the Parrot Zick, even if I'm not putting text in here, if you have something that gives people an idea of what it is, they will click on it. But it's very important to actually have an image. As you can see, all my images on Geekazine have got cover images. And that's what you should do with your audio podcast. Now, there's two articles I'm going to point to, and you can get the links down in the show notes over on youtube.com and check it out. First of all, there was a couple months ago, somebody said audio podcasts cannot go viral. Well, I think that they can, and if you do it right, it will. And one of the things that you do to make it go viral is have an image attached to it. And as you can see, I had a nice little cute kitten with the podcast eyes, and can an audio podcast go viral? A lot of people have been clicking on it because of this image. So, and of course, if you go down, you'll find out about the podcasts that did go viral, and you'll find out about how you can actually, it's more than just pictures, how you can make your audio podcast a viral one so you get more people to come to your show. Another one, if you're not sure how to do thumbnails, I'm going to show you how to make thumbnails on this other article. Add your own thumbnail to YouTube. How to, of course, if you do it for WordPress on your audio podcast, you can do that too. You can even put images into your ID3 artwork if you wanted to. I use a program called MP3 Tag, and I'm going to load it up here really quick. And inside of I'll just grab one file here. I can go Geeksmack. I can actually remove this cover. I can add a cover, and you want to keep it on the low end, something like something like under 600 by 600. You'll be fine. Don't make a big image. So the 1280 by 720 images that I'm saying, what you want to do is you'd probably want to make a 720 by 480 version of that image. And then, like, for instance, right here, I could then put that in there. And all of a sudden, you've got a new image inside of your podcast. Now, I'm not going to save this one, but you get the idea here as you go from there. So how do you do it if you don't have Photoshop? And I'm going to show you right here. You can use this program right here. It's called Pixlr, Pixlr.com, Pixlr.com. Absolutely free. How easy is it to use? You go into Pixlr.com, you click on the Pixlr editor, and look at that. It goes right in the editor. You don't have to log in. You don't have to sign up. You don't have to do anything. You can create your image. You can go from there. So I'm going to create a new image, and I'm going to say, hey, I want it to be 1280 by 720. And the reason why I'm using 1280 by 720 is because that's the YouTube Creators Playbook suggestion. And I forgot to say transparent. I was going to check that transparent box. But now I've got a canvas to work on to bring it over. I've already done one here. Let me just close this out. I've already done this one right here. How to use Sony Movie Studio to record audio podcasts. Of course, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be creating how to use Adobe Premiere Pro to record audio podcasts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change out this picture, and I'm going to change this. And I can actually save this. I have this saved as a template. So I can actually just use the same template to bring another image. So what I'll do is I'll take this image, this layer right here, and I'll turn it off. And then I've already done a screenshot. So basically I'll go into YouTube. I can play the video, and then I expand it full screen, and I take a screenshot, whether doing Alt Print Screen on Windows or Command Shift 3 for a full screen image, or Command Shift 4 for a so I can choose my own size on Mac. And then I got an image. I can also take a picture. I mean, as you can see, when I was over on YouTube, not everything was a picture of the screen or the video, like this Tascam DR60D. I took a picture of that. And as you can see, if you're looking for the Tascam DR60D, you'll see that right there, and you'll go, oh, I want to see this. And you'll click on it to watch the video. So it doesn't have to be from the video. It makes it easier because you can find a frame, you can just screenshot it and go from there. Go into the photo editor online, and you can paste it right in there. And of course, I got to bring it up a little bit so it shows what it's all about. So now, in this case, I said Sony Movie Studio is part of a series, so I have to change this. So I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do how to use Adobe Premiere Pro to record audio podcasts. Boom, like that. Now, and that's, of course, a little bit off page, so I'm going to move this over. Now, the cool thing, and what you really want to do is you want to make this text as big as possible. That's what they're going to read, because when they read it, they're going to read, it's just going to take them a brief second to read that, as opposed to reading a text. Because when you read text, you're basically taught to read left to right. So if I look at a picture, I've got that all in one shot. If I look at text, I read like this. So what I'll see is Geekazine, and that's it. And then go from there. So I want to have a good title, just as much as you get a good title in your podcast, on your blog, that SEO factor and stuff like that. You want to tell them what this is about and go from there. So I said, how to use Adobe Premiere Pro to record audio podcasts. Now, I did this in a yellow color. I used a nice, strong font. This is the Impact font. I used yellow because it was a dark background. If it was a light background, I'd use a dark color like black or a dark blue or something like that. One thing I haven't figured out on how to do with Pixlr just yet is, because I don't usually use this program, is how to create a second layer. So usually what I want to do is I want to put a shadow behind it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this layer, and I'm going to take this one, and I'm going to bring it down a couple and over a couple, and as you can see, it moved, and it looks a little bit off, but now I'm going to take this, I'm going to take the color, I'm going to change that to black, and go okay, and now I have a drop shadow on here, and if you can see, I'll turn that off, I'll turn it back on, you'll get an idea of how it pulls out a little bit when the drop shadow is there. If I want to do more of a drop shadow, I'll just a little bit more. And as you can see, there's more of the drop shadow. So now if I turn that off, that's even more noticeable. And I turn it back on. So now I've created an image. It says what the video is about. It says where you can get to me. I even put in howtorecordpodcast.com, which I have to recenter here really quick because it's a little bit off. So I'll just bring that over. And it's a full 720, as you can see, and I got to move over the layer here really quick to get on the full screen. So now, and you've got me right here, So nice little face, even though you can't really see it, but you've got an idea of what I'm talking about, and you've got the nice, big font to say what it's all about. Now all I have to do is say File, Save, and I can say, well, in this case, it's Adobe Premiere Studio Podcast. So I'll say it's a JPEG. I'll give the quality 80. You could probably bring it down to 60% on quality and still have a good image out of there before it really starts to pixelate. But you can also send it to your Pixlr library, Facebook, Flickr, Picasa if you wanted to. But in this case, I'm just going to save it to my hard drive. I'm going to hit OK. And I'm going to say Adobe Premiere Studio Podcast right in Geekazine Pictures. So we'll save that right there. Now we'll go back over to YouTube. And we'll go back over to my Premiere Pro to record an audio podcast. I'm going to say, hey, I want to hit that thumbnail right there. I'm going to go right here and go Adobe. There's my Adobe. I'll click on that. And poof, I've just put in the title here. And I'm going to say save change. And it's going to be done. And now if I go to my video manager, as you can see, it just showed up there. And now people, when they see that video, they're going to start going, oh, well, this is how to use Adobe Premiere Pro to record an audio podcast. I might be interested in that, as opposed to reading here, because they'll see how to use. They won't see the rest. And it's just the way your eye works. And it's important to do that. Now, another thing, another important factor here, and I learned this from actually drawing comics. When you do a comic, the eye tends to go like in this pattern. It goes up to the top right-hand corner, down to the bottom right-hand corner, to the bottom left-hand corner, to the top left-hand corner. So if you think that way, then it's kind of a clockwise circle. That's how people will see that picture. So by this picture here, the text is right here. It's in the prime spot. You know what it's about. You see the rest of the picture. Boom. In under a second, you've seen the rest of that picture. Now you can get very, very intense into your thumbnails. A lot of people do it. Let's go back over to YouTube. You're going to see some of these other pictures. Like I said, I normally like to take a screenshot or a picture and then put text to it so you know what it's about. Some other people get a little bit more into that. They've got people dedicated to it, like this One Direction prank. You can see that there's faces, there's One Direction right there, so that's going to give you an idea. They end up getting 2.7 million views off of that. And now another thing you got to remember is in some cases as you can see with this One Direction prank, the word prank got blocked by this little watch later icon. And once it's gone, of course, it goes. But, if there's overlays, you don't want to put anything directly on the bottom. You don't want to put anything directly on the top. You want to be able to have it cross down as much as possible. Another thing is, even if you don't put text on, if you've got a good picture, people will click on it. Like this sex with the Hulk. Of course, the word sex is in a video, and that pretty much drives traffic. But you'll see an image here of a woman adjusting herself, and some people will go, hey, I want to watch that, because that's the way the mind works. The Minecraft, Mario Galaxy, more Herobrine, more explosives, epic jump maps. You know exactly what these are about. So if you're big into Minecraft, I want to know about epic jump maps. That'd be cool. The Fine Brothers and their reactions to, and this is the Fox. What does the Fox say? In this case, I'd probably put text in here as opposed to just faces. But a lot of people know what the Fine Brothers images look like. And as you can see, they're using a consistent background. They're using a consistent images. So you know that this is going to be a Fine Brothers video. And if you've watched them before, you go, oh, I'm going to watch it again. So as you can see, you can get the Grand Theft Auto. This is the biggest one. They get really in depth, and they cut out stuff, and you can do a lot of editing, a lot of filtering on here. Like these layers, you can actually draw on them. Like I could paint on this if I wanted to, or I could erase some of this image and erase around, and I just have my face here if I wanted to. I could put on filters. Here's a pixelate filter. If I wanted to pixelate a little bit, if I wanted to put a vignette around it, And that's perfect for that's an easy one, because what it does is it darkens the corners to really pop out the text, and you can go from there. So lots of different ways to adjust. I can adjust the exposure. I can get it really light, really dark, and I could really pop out the text here. And once again, I could do even more layers and do more stuff, lots of stuff. And this is actually free program, the free software. So if you're on the go, let's say you're not even close to your computer and you've created a video and you're trying to upload it to YouTube and you want to get the best pop possible, or even an audio podcast, you want to get the best pop possible, and it's like, I'm not close to my computer, you can actually go up on Pixlr and create your thumbnail and get it out there and then push it up to YouTube or wherever you're going to put it up on. Even, I use Blip. If you use Vimeo, you should always have a cover image on it so people know what it's about. They see it at the beginning and go from there. So anyway, like I said, I talk about it on how an audio podcast can go viral. I'll have that link in the YouTube show notes. Of course, add your own thumbnail to YouTube. I'll also have that link in the show notes. Feel free to do that and check those articles out. I even give you some, in this one, I even give you some cool backgrounds, because I used to actually do the whole cutout thing and put text on and then put the background on. And it takes a little bit more work. So if you've got 2 or 3 people doing these shows and one person can dedicate to creating these thumbnails, that makes life easier. But if there's a video that I'm pretty confident will have a good pop value to it, we'll get, I want to push it over a few thousand users and give it a more traction, I will actually spend time creating these images and redoing and putting on stuff that people will, make people see it and pop from there. So anyway, if you want to check that all out over at How to Record Podcast, of course, all my shows over at geekazine.com, and my YouTube channel, youtube.com/geekazine, or youtube.com/how to record podcasts. And you can go from there. So thanks a lot for watching. My name is Jeffrey Powers. We will see you next time, where I'll explain a little bit more about how you can take your podcasts and make them go viral, how you can take your podcasts and give them pop, or whatever you need to do with your podcast. So thanks a lot for watching. You guys geek out, and until next time, take care.